Hi, I'm Britt Scarce, host of Business Talk, presented by the Sharonville Chamber of Commerce. Today we have here in studio, we have John and Todd Albrecht with the Perfection Group. And we're going to be talking a little bit about what the Perfection Group does and a little bit about what you guys do for the Perfection Group. I guess we'll let John, you go first.
Sure. So Perfection Group was started in 1951 by our grandfather, Ed Albrecht. It was started in the basement of his house in Carthage and grew from there. We're 65 years last year, so actually 66 years this year. And we've been in Sharonville for 30 years. And so we're real excited about the opportunities and the growth that we've seen, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But we primarily service industrial, commercial, and institutional customers where we are doing three things. We do design, build, construction, so we're building new buildings. We're doing service work and maintenance on those facilities and other facilities. And then we do energy retrofit work. So those three lines of work, and that's really kind of, we've seen a lot of growth in the last 5 years with that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of new construction going up, I think, over the past few years. We've really been starting to see the economy recover and a lot of new, companies and existing companies either expanding or building all new buildings. Mm-hmm. So now what exactly do you do for the company, John?
So I run our mechanical group, and our mechanical side does the new construction part, and we do the energy retrofit part.
Okay. And we'll get Todd in here.
Yeah, I run our service companies, which encompasses mostly break-fix kind of repair work on mechanical systems. So you have a rooftop unit that's supplying cooling to your building. And it's not working today. So you would call Perfection and we would come out and take a look at it. So we do a lot of break fix work. We do maintenance contracts where you have annual preventative maintenance agreements to change filters and clean coils and change belts on units and things like that. And then we also do replacement work. So that the unit, it's beyond repair and it needs to be replaced. So we would come out and replace that unit. And our service company is, we have, 9 service companies throughout our footprint. We're in Ohio, we're in Kentucky, we're in Indiana, we're in Tennessee, we're in West Virginia, and then we're also in the state of Florida. So
wow, I had no idea you were in so many states.
Yeah, pretty large company.
Yeah, that's great. And with the maintenance things, every building owner tries to get as much life out of all of those, AC units as they can.
Absolutely, and maintenance is a huge part of making that, making that equipment last longer. So,
yeah. Is there an industry in particular that you specialize in, or can you pretty much work with anybody?
We could pretty much work with anybody, but we kind of, specifically target. We do a lot of work with school districts. They're a great client.
Large buildings.
Large buildings, yeah, exactly. Large buildings with complicated systems. That's really where we play the best. Large commercial buildings, institutional type buildings, courthouses, jails. Those types of things is where we really play the best.
Are the older buildings a lot more difficult to deal with when you get into those buildings that were from the 1900s and they've been, you see all these new retrofitted, rehabbed buildings?
Yeah, we definitely have to really coordinate with the customer on how to get new systems routed through the buildings. But I think what we like to focus on is where we can really talk to the owner. I mean, Perfection is not a low-cost provider. We are higher priced, but you get a higher benefit. And so we have to be able to talk, like Todd said, to the school district, to the superintendent, to the business manager, people that care about the longevity, the systems and the buildings. To you, if you're a business owner, we want to talk to you because we're not going to be 50 cents cheaper than the next guy, but we're going to be there when you call us on Saturday. We're going to, if something's not right, we've replaced cooling towers that are 2 years out of warranty because it was the right thing to do. So that's the kind of company that Perfection is.
Yeah, you're going to do it right.
We're going to do it right, and we stand behind it. We've been around a long time.
Yeah, that's great. So is the business model changing at all with things that are going on in the industry, or what kind of things are going on in your industry that are causing? Is there more innovation or new things that you guys are seeing? Any new trends?
Most of the innovation out there it's all about efficiency and energy efficiency. The newer systems are more energy efficient, and so going to the market with that is a good play. we're able to look at, like John kind of mentioned earlier, we're able to look at a building's infrastructure and make recommendations for how to make that building run more efficient. Sometimes it's new equipment, sometimes it's just reusing what you've got, or repurposing things in a different way. Sometimes it includes lighting systems, upgrading lighting and building automation and control systems and things like that. So we really drive and try to consult with our clients and try to drive savings. That's really
Now,
our whole
is the lighting trend, is it like the LED type situation? Is that really cut like a tremendous amount
Tremendous
of
amounts.
energy cost? That's great.
So we're also in our energy saving where we're working with institutional customers like cities and counties. They own a lot of street lights, traffic lights, and those systems are 60 to 70% savings. So
Wow.
the LEDs are using a third of the power. So it's
That's
almost like
amazing.
your home where you can have a 60-watt light bulb and you go buy the little LED and it's like 8 watts. I mean, it's a tremendous savings. And the light now, the LEDs, after every 10 years, are now really, they work well. I mean, they last, they have a nice light look. They don't look all white and really bright. They look like warm. You can get them warm, you can get them however you want them. A lot of options.
Yeah. Well, to a large company or a school system, to save over
tremendous.
60, 70% on
It could
that.
be
is-
hundreds of thousands of dollars
My gosh.
in their utility bills on an annual basis to a large school system.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
And what's nice about it, so the lighting and maybe the controls, if they're like running their systems all the time, those two pieces can pay for like a new HVAC system, like a new heating, cooling system has a 40-year long payback. Even though there's efficiency there, but it's just complicated to replace. So we'll marry the two together, the lighting and maybe the street lighting and those controls, and then all of a sudden the whole thing pays for itself in 8 years.
Yeah. I mean, if you're saving 60 to 70% or more on some of those, I mean, it would pay for itself, even if it was expensive on the front end. Maybe a little bit of an expense now to get it installed, it would end up saving you tons of money down the road. Do you guys also, are there any environmental issues and things of that nature that that you guys can help companies be compliant with, or that kind of thing with there's so many new regulations that have been put in place in the last 10 years.
Probably the biggest thing that we deal with right now is the phase out of a refrigerant called R22. The government has we can no longer manufacture it, so the price of that refrigerant is going up, and because it was deemed as not being environmentally friendly, so the price of that refrigerant is going up and up and up. So there are alternatives for our customers. There's some alternative called drop-in refrigerants. There's some drop-in refrigerant alternatives that we look at and explore with customers, and a lot of customers are just choosing to replace the equipment.
They'll just use the newer material.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Are there any challenges on the horizon for your industry that you guys are having to overcome? Or?
I'd say the biggest challenge that our industry faces is just the worker shortage. So we have an aging workforce in general. I would say that most people in college today don't think of construction or HVAC as high tech. I mean, they're thinking of it as old guys that are sweaty, working on a construction job, getting dirty, and I don't want to do that. So little do they know that like our guys are controls programmers. They're doing high-tech shutting systems off, controlling chillers, boilers. We might have a temperature control chamber that we're maintaining, very tight tolerances. So there's a lot of cool stuff there. We're installing these high-tech systems in old courthouses. And so our industry really is pretty cool at just getting that message out there.
That it's not all twisting wrenches and being greasy.
And
You
being
might actually
sweaty
you might be in khakis and a golf shirt, huh?
And the other thing is these guys
Exactly.
can make a really good living doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just don't realize what's out there, in our industry.
I think we've had an issue, I think, in general, being able to get people to go into the trades.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
We have I've heard that there's a real shortage in everything from welders to people
Exactly.
working in construction. And, we're going to need to build buildings and run run things. People are going to need to do those
Our
kind of jobs.
industry is not something that you can outsource. You
Yeah.
know, you can't outsource it. So we need to be building those folks here.
Yeah. So are there, do you guys have, speaking of that, are you partnering with any of the vocational schools here locally?
We do some work with the Oaks programs. Okay. Yeah, we do some work there. We'll go and speak and talk about our company and that kind of stuff, and try to recruit top talent out of there. You know, so that is something we do, and we do have a training program for the younger guys that are coming in to try to develop them, you know, quickly so they can be on the job and independent. But it's a challenge. I mean, it's a challenge.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, how do you guys? It's a family business, so how do you guys split up the duties of running the company?
So I run the mechanical group, which is our energy retrofit side in the mechanical group. Todd runs the service group, and then our dad is overall is the CEO of the company.
He's still very active in the business.
Very active in the business, and we do have monthly board meetings where there's some other folks involved as well, and president level guys, kind of, we call them CRO, Chief Revenue Officers, involved in like all the big sales. And so we meet monthly, and it's really pretty, there's not a whole lot after that. I mean, we have each division has their own general manager, division manager, and they run their own P&L. So we have them run it almost like it's their own business.
Yeah. So you guys have been in business since 1951, you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what makes you love what you do? What makes you go to work every day and keep everything going?
Really, for us, it's all about the people. You know, we're a family business, and we treat our folks like they're family members, and it's just one big family. It's interesting. We've had great success with having, like, we've got dads that work, and then their kids are working here. We've got lots of that going on within the company.
Not only is the ownership,
multiple generations of not only ownership, but of other people in the company, and not just here in Cincinnati, all over our footprint. So
that says a lot about your company that, you know,
Yeah.
people, you know, within the families, you know, continue to come back and work with the company.
You know, some people might look at that and say, boy, that's a negative. I don't know if that could work in our company or not. But like for us, it's like, what greater compliment could you have for us than to say, you know what, I want my son or my daughter to work with me and work at this company because it's such a great company to work for. So it's awesome. For us, it's all about the people and growing people and giving people an opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what makes it wonderful.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And we did spend, there was a few years, maybe 20 years ago, we kind of went into more of a, I would say, a corporate feel at Perfection. And maybe at the time it was something that helped us, but I think in the long run we've shifted back towards the family feel, and I think that makes people more loyal. And at the end of the day, our biggest expense is all of our associates, the salaries. So we want them to be happy, love what they do, come to work, and that's really what makes us the most productive, is having all of our associates really love what they do.
Yeah.
Feel like they're part of the family.
Well, I mean, you know, there's nothing worse than having to go to work every day and dread it, you
Right.
know, and when you have people that stay long-term like that, and even bring in other family members that stay long-term, that says that you have a great environment.
Yeah.
So you guys are doing a great job, and you have a great reputation in in Cincinnati and in Sharonville. I know we've had some after-hours events for the chamber over there at your facility. It's a great facility.
Thank you.
Everybody we came in contact with over there were awesome, top-notch. So thank you guys for your
great.
time today. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, happy to do it.
Yep. Our guests have been Todd and John Albrecht.